I'm now live. Hello, welcome. Hi to everyone watching this afterwards, all of my replay viewers.
Buenos dias.
Good morning, buenos dias. Sergio wants to say hello.
Hey, I was just making coffee.
There's my pile of homework. I'm working on a research paper. Anyway, I'm going to try to stand here. I know this is a close view. I have us set up to be able to peek into the pot when I start doing my thing. So that's why the view is different today. So, okay, so let's get going. So today we're making poached eggs, and usually poached eggs are considered super fancy, so I wanted to kind of demystify it for you guys so that you can make them, sorry, I'm really wiggly, so that you can make them at home, because most food that's fancy is not actually that fancy. So I want you guys to feel like you're living your best life, even if you're not paying $60 to go to brunch somewhere, or even if you are paying $60 to go to brunch there. You don't always have to pay $60 if you want a poached egg. So, not that poached eggs cost $60. Sorry, I'm still sleepy.
The whole meal would.
So, usually poached eggs are served over some sort of bread or muffin. Often they're served with hollandaise, which is a butter sauce, which I have had a request to teach, so maybe we'll try to make hollandaise sauce next week. But I want to encourage you all to be creative and eat your poached egg over something else. So my suggestion would be a bed of greens. They can be, raw greens. They can be slightly sautéed greens. Maybe you want to eat them over mashed potatoes. Maybe you want to eat them over sweet mashed potatoes. Maybe you've made a breakfast hash, with peppers and onions and some sort of ground meat and potatoes, and you want to serve an egg over that. Sorry, my echo went off. Maybe you want to serve them in breakfast tacos. I know I'm from San Antonio, and breakfast tacos are a huge thing, so if you want to make people think you're fancy with breakfast tacos, serve a poached egg in there with some green sauce and maybe some migas or some bacon. You can serve it over a ratatouille. You can serve a poached egg over a hamburger patty. There's so many ways to serve poached eggs. There are so many distractions in here today. So forgive me for looking all around. Yeah. So personally, what I have this morning, we ate all our salad greens last night from the roof, where I've been growing my salad greens. So I'm probably going to show you how to serve them over just some mashed yams. And all in all, this is not a fancy meal. You don't need a lot of ingredients. You don't need a lot of tools. You don't need a lot of education. It's really funny that these types of eggs have become a symbol of something fancy, because they're really not fancy to make. So I want you guys to make them and show your friends how fancy you are, and maybe teach them how to make them too. Okay? So we're going to go ahead and get started. Phoebe, can I use this already warm water, or do you want to use it? Okay. So I'm going to turn the camera around. Just trust that I'm still here, because you can hear my voice, okay? I'm still here. Okay, so this is my normal setup. You can see that I have, I don't know if you can tell, but that's an induction stove top, which means that it's a magnetized heating system, so when it turns on, it doesn't get hot unless I put a pan on it, and it has to be a specific type of pan. So I live in a small kitchen. I don't know if you all have noticed from my previous cook-alongs, but it's not big. And this is how we deal with space issues. When we're not using it, I put it in a shelf on the wall. Okay, so I'm not ready for this, sorry. I wanted to talk to you guys about eggs again because I know my rant last time got deleted because my phone died, but I have my charger plugged in for lights, so we're good for a while. So there's a million different types of eggs, and you might wonder, like, what makes a certain egg better than another egg? And I just wanted to kind of go over some of the terminology. So give me 1 second. I'm going to get an empty carton. Yeah, that one. Oh, look at me. I thought ahead. Okay. So we just finished these yesterday. But these, I wonder if we have more light. Oh, I know what I did last time. Okay, so these are cage-free eggs. They're from Costco. And I kind of just wanted to talk about, like, all these little symbols up at the top. I don't know if you guys can hear me. I'm mumbling. All these little symbols up at the top. So you might say, oh, cage-free. That means that the birds aren't in cages, which is technically true. But cage-free doesn't necessarily mean that the bird is not 100% indoors for all its life. Cage-free does not mean that the bird gets sunlight. Cage-free doesn't mean that the bird gets space to roam around. Cage-free doesn't mean that the bird is like digging in the dirt and finding worms. And cage-free doesn't always mean that the bird is healthy. So cage-free is one of these marketing terms that means one specific thing by law, but that gives us this feeling that we're making the right choice. So there's a lot of advertising and marketing and persuasion that's going on with all these terms to get us to buy certain products. And the reason I support animal welfare, and I think it's really important, is because an animal, the quality of the animal product, whether it's meat or eggs or oil or whatever, if we eat it, it really depends on how the animal was treated, what was put into the animal, meaning like injections, steroids, hormones, antibiotics, and also what the animal ate. So I don't know if you all are familiar with chickens, but naturally they're not vegetarian. They're not vegan. They don't eat 100% vegetables. That's just not the natural diet of a chicken. So this one says, is this backwards? Can you guys read this? Okay, I'm gonna switch it around so it's not cuckoo. Okay, so, oh, look how much better that looks. So see right here, it says vegetarian, 100% vegetarian fed, which necessarily means that the birds were not let out to pasture. Because if a bird lives on the pasture, if a bird lives on a farm, it's going to be an opportunistic omnivore, meaning that if it can, it's going to catch worms, it's going to catch bugs, it's going to dig through the soil, it's going to look for maybe rats. If it's fast enough, it'll catch a mouse, it'll eat grasshoppers. Birds, they're opportunistic omnivores. They will eat whatever they find, and it makes them better. That's their natural diet. So you know when you see 100% vegetarian fed that everything that was fed to them was given by, a human. So it also, because it doesn't say organic on this can, on this box, you know that the food that they gave them is probably soy, corn, wheat. That's probably what was given to these animals. And not only that, it was conventional soy, corn, and wheat, which are often genetically modified, which are often sprayed with pesticides themselves, which are often moldy. So the birds are eating all of these things, and then you're eating either the chicken itself, or in the case of eggs, they're what they're creating for their offspring. But what they make in these eggs are they can only use the ingredients that they're given as chickens to make their eggs. So you know that whatever they were given went into making these eggs. So although I did buy these, it's not something that personally I buy a lot. The word cage-free, I wanted to tell you the exact definition, literally just means they're not in cages. So maybe when they're in cages, often it's like row of chicken, row of chicken, row of chicken, and they all crap on each other, and they're all really tight and they can't move. They don't have room to flap their wings. Often when they're in cages, they cut their beak because otherwise they'll kill each other. So they'll like cut off part of their beaks. And I know it's all very gruesome, but this is the reality of your regular eggs that you're buying, your conventional eggs. And I'm not trying to shame you, because eggs are a good source of protein. They're a good source of fat. And if you can only afford conventional eggs, then buy your conventional eggs and eat them and enjoy them, because you're nourishing yourself. But if you have a choice, if you have the extra $2 to buy the higher quality versions of these eggs, the better the animal is going to be treated, the better the quality of the ingredients that went into the animal, and the better of the quality of the eggs, which means that you yourself are going to be healthier. So when I think about buying high quality foods, I'm thinking about it as like, I'm paying for this instead of paying for medicine. I'm paying for this instead of paying for surgery. I'm paying for this instead of paying for it in pain in chronic disease later. So I know it sounds super judgy right now. Maybe it's because I'm tired, but I really like to emphasize that you should buy the highest quality that you can afford. You should buy the highest quality that you can find. And if you buy it from a neighbor who has chickens, for example, she may not have a cage-free certification. She may not have a organic seal. And the benefit of buying it from someone you know means that you can turn over and see, like, oh, look, this is her farm, this is where she is. You can ask her, like, Jill, do you use antibiotics? She's like, no, like, why would I use antibiotics? My birds are healthy. So when you're looking at packages, you're really fighting all of these advertising slogans and stuff. So the most important thing to look at is right here, like their certifications that they have, and not necessarily like the word cage-free. So you're looking for things like organic, free range, grass-fed, certified. So this one is certified by the American Humane, what does this say? HumaneHeartland.org. So this company, either Kirkland paid this company to come out, well, they for sure paid for it, but this company did an inspection and said that, yes, these animals are treated humanely. And then this one is the USDA certification, just means that the USDA has come through and made sure that, yeah, they are cage-free, they're not living in cages, they do abide by that certification, okay? So that's on this package. And then I wanted to show you, hi Tina! I wanted to show you this particular package, which is the eggs that I try to buy as often as I can. These are a brand called Vital Farms, and the reason that I really like the quality of these is because I can tell by the color of the yolk that these birds are really healthy and well fed. So right here, this, could be true or false. Um, you always want to look for the certifications, but this is what this company says, is that each bird has a minimum of 108 square feet, and that that's the pasture-raised standard. So in order for them to call them pasture-raised, they have to have a minimum of 108 square feet. And so here's their certification. There's humane certified, raised, and handled. So you can go back to this this little website, oh God, it's so small, humaneheartland.org, and you can see what that company has decided are their standards, and that to be certified humane, that they have to meet a certain number of standards. So here there's another little blurb that says, meets the Humane Farm Animal Care Program standards, which include nutritious diet without antibiotics, animals raised with shelter, resting areas, sufficient space, and the ability to engage in natural behaviors. And remember, we talked about those natural behaviors are, foraging, chasing after grasshoppers, looking for rats, digging in the dirt, fighting with each other. All of those things are natural behaviors that you want your animal to do. So this is my preferred brand, and I actually went out to buy eggs last night because when you're making poached eggs, I want you to use the freshest eggs you can find. As an egg becomes less fresh, the yolk, or the whites, get spread out. They get more watery, and that's going to make for a less pretty egg. Not like less nutritious, but it's just not going to look as good. And when you make poached eggs, you want it to be that little compact poached look. So I went out and bought these Vital Farms eggs last night because they're healthy eggs, and you can tell every time you crack open an egg, the yolk is like almost orange. So I'm going to have Sergio go get me. Can you get me another egg so I can show them the difference between the Vital Farms? Yeah. Okay, so we're going to crack 2 eggs, one from the Vital Farms and one from the conventional. Well, these are, what are those? I think they're technically pasture raised. They're the Kirkland brand pasture raised. But I cracked them open last week and was not impressed with the color difference. So I don't know what that implies for the way that Costco Kirkland brand is raising their chickens. But the eggs don't lie. You can tell how good an egg is by cracking it open. It's not a secret. So this is the Kirkland, what was it, pasture raised?
Pasture raised,
Organic pasture raised egg. So we're going to crack this one open, and I'm going to show you what it looks like. And then we're going to open the Vital Farms one and show you the color of it too. Oh, this is not going to be pretty. Okay. Another note about eggshell colors, I don't want you guys to get tricked into thinking that because an egg is a certain color, it's better or higher quality. The outside. So these eggs are brown, which is another marketing ploy. But a chicken that lays white eggs or blue eggs, they can still be just as healthy or just as poorly raised as chickens that lay these brown eggs. One thing I do like to test also is how hard the shell is. Like if the egg cracks really easily, that's crazy, right? Because when an egg was laid, it was laid to protect the baby that could possibly grow inside. So imagine the chicken was so poorly fed that she didn't have enough nutrients to make the eggshell hard and protective. So you want an egg that has like a strong shell. as well. That's another aspect of knowing if your eggs are good. So here I go. So these are, so those are your Costco organic eggs. Ooh, I cracked the yolk a little bit. Oh. And so you can see it's a nice orangey color. It's not yellow, it's orangey. That might be because of the light, but. And now I'm going to show you the Vital Farms, which remember is my favorite brand of egg. Which, can you tell the difference between the eggshells? Like, they're really, you can't, just because something is a certain color doesn't mean that it's better or worse. They're generally the same color. There's variations from chicken to chicken what color the egg shell is. Okay, so, jeez, these are harder to crack. Big money, no whammies. Look at that. Do you see? That's orange. That is an orange yolk. That's what you're looking for. That's money right there. That is carotenoids, that's healthy fats. This is what color you want your yolk to be. So it doesn't matter like what light filter I'm using. Like the light is kind of yellow in here, so it's going to throw off the perspective. But really, you can see, like this one all of a sudden, although it looked orange before, now it looks really yellow, right? It just, you can always tell the difference. And then another thing that's cool is look how perky this yolk is. Can you see that? It's like bulging out of the whites. So that's what you're looking for when you're looking for a healthy egg. You can tell that the bird has been well treated by the product. Okay? Excuse me. Okay, so that's my egg rant that we did last week and I lost. But now you guys will be able to tell, like, oh, is my egg healthy or not? And remember, even an egg that is conventional is going to be better than you eating a bag of hot Cheetos. So if you can only afford conventional eggs, you do you eat your conventional eggs, and as soon as you get your comeuppance, you start buying those pasture-raised eggs, and I promise you it'll make a difference, okay? So now we're going to go ahead and get to the poaching part. So this is the size of my pan. It's about the size of my hand. It's not super big. If you have a medium-sized one, this is a good size. Hopefully you can hear me over all the mechanical noise, because it's going to be a little bit noisy.
Is the water for me?
Well, it was the water for you, but it's not anymore. But I'll make you some more. Okay. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and get your water to simmering, okay? Some people put vinegar in their poached egg slurry, but I tried it yesterday without vinegar and it works perfectly fine, so we don't need to use vinegar at all. And now I'm going to show you the hack. I know I said that this recipe only needs a slotted spoon, a pan, salt, and an egg. But if you have a strainer, this is going to be a level up for you, okay? Gross. People are going to think I'm nasty because my strainer is all dirty. I did clean it before this. Okay. So you're going to, especially with an old egg, you can strain out the parts of the whites that are like really runny. Ooh. You see that? So obviously with an older egg, it's going to be way more runny than a fresher egg. So you're going to strain out the whites, and then, but if you can't do this, it's fine, because I tried it both ways yesterday as well and it was fine. So then you're going to stir your water when it starts to simmer. I don't know if you can see those little bubbles in the bottom, but mine's simmering. And I guess the salt is to help keep your water wetter. That's what I learned in biology or chemistry, is salt keeps water wetter. So it helps keep your water boiling. It helps keep it from evaporating. But you don't have to put salt in this stage. You can put salt when you're ready to eat it. So here's my sea salt. I get it in chunks and I grind it as I go. I'm going to just put a little tiny bit in there. And then we're going to start with the fancy yolk, because I really would love it to turn out nice the first time around for you guys, but we'll see. Okay, so I actually just tried to put this through the strainer. Oh, okay, a little bit came out, but not much, sorry. This is the Vital Farms egg. So while this is stirring, you want to get you don't want to stir it too crazy, like you don't want it to be a party in there or a tornado, but you want there to be like a kind of a little vortex in the middle. And then you're going to pour your little egg right in the middle, lower it into the pan, and you see all the little hairs? Those are the things that we were trying to get rid of by straining it, but they separate from the egg anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Whoa, I'm going to turn the volume down, or the intensity of the heat down now. But, see, my egg's already starting to look fancy in there. And it depends also how you like your eggs. So I just like my eggs with the whites done. But I love my yolks runny. So it just depends on your preferences. But when you might have to experiment a little. So obviously if you like your yolks less runny, you're going to put it in there longer. If you like your yolks more runny, you're going to put it in there less time. And then you're going to take it out with a slotted spoon. And you're just going to wiggle it around to try to get all that water off. Okay? And then basically you can serve it over whatever you want. I'm just putting it in here so that I can try again with you guys. But so that's how I like my yolk. I like it super runny. So let's try again. We'll try with this egg, which is not doing so hot, but it's fine. So you just want to do one egg at a time. So if you're making like a bunch of poached eggs for your friends, I would recommend to do it last once the food's ready, but then also don't try to do like 3 in your bowl at a time, okay? Or 3 in your pot. So here goes another one. I have no idea how this one's going to turn out because it's super spread out already. Ooh. Turn off music, please. Okay, so I've got a little stir going. Here it goes. Oh, this one's not going to be pretty at all. Can you see that? Ooh, there's a glare. So you see how the yolk is kind of everywhere. But the bright side about this one is that if you don't like your yolks runny, it's definitely not going to be runny. That yolk is going to be pretty solid. So literally it's that simple to make poached eggs. It's not difficult. I don't know why they're considered so fancy, but that's it. That's all it takes. There's my ugly one. Just dance. turn this camera around and talk to you guys again. Okay, so last thing, I'm just going to show you really quick. Hold on. No, that's not right. Here we go. I'm just going to show you really quick what I would serve this over. Remember I said that I would serve it over like a bed of greens. I like my greens kind of raw, but you can saute your greens. And then, BB, can you go get the yams out of the refrigerator?
Okay.
Okay, so you can serve it over a bed of greens, raw. You can serve it over a bed of sauteed greens. You can serve it over, say, if you make ratatouille, you can serve it over that. I know that sounds really fancy, but it's just like a vegetable stew. You can serve it over a burger. If you want to be super fancy, you can serve your poached egg over the burger.
How's the water?
Yeah. Is it boiled? Sergio wants coffee. I thought... No, it's not boiled. Oh, here he is. You can serve poached eggs in a hat. You can serve them with a cat. You can serve them in a box. You can serve them with a fox. You can serve them here or there. You can serve them anywhere. Okay. So what I would do, and these are going to be cold, but it doesn't matter because you're not eating them. It's mostly just for show. But I made some cooked yams yesterday, and I would just mash them, make like a sweet mash. And, oh, you're not seeing at all what I'm doing, but I just took a potato and I just mashed it, a yam. And then I imagine that there's like a layer of arugula or something in between the egg and the mash. But I would just serve the egg over the top just like this with some pretty greens. And there you have like a complete breakfast. So just imagine there's like greens here. And then, of course, you want to sprinkle a little bit of salt and pepper. A lot of times these types of eggs are served with hollandaise sauce, which we might do in the future. Yeah, so I'm just going to smash this open so that you can kind of see the consistency. So this is what the egg looks like inside, the poached egg. Look at that. That's gorgeous. Holy moly. So that's the yolk on the inside. It's like almost, it's completely keeping its form. If I stab it, we're going to see what happens. Oh yeah, that ooze. And some people hate this, which is totally okay. If you don't like this, then go ahead and keep yours in the water for longer. You can keep it, for 5 or 6 minutes. And then just experiment with it. See how you like it. You're the one who knows best what kind of egg you like. So, yeah, it's delicious. I just took a bite. So, that's it. That's all we have today. So, thank you so much for joining me. And go ahead in my direct messages or in my post. Let me know what you want me to show you how to make next time. I'm trying to do this on a weekly basis, but I'm also trying to experiment on, what days of the week work best for people. I want people to actually participate, so just getting into the groove of things. So thank you so much for joining me, you guys, and I hope you're able to make poached eggs, and if you do, send me a message, send me a picture, send me a video. I want to see all that because I think it's really awesome. All right? So have a good day. Bye.